And word is coming into the WECT newsroom that two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Busch has died. Busch died today after being hospitalized with a serious illness. Now, medical experts have not released the cause of death. Kyle Busch is considered one of NASCAR's best ever. 63 wins, ranked 9th all-time. This year, 2026, is the 22nd year that he's on the high circuit. He died at the age of 41 years old.